Drug abuse among the strata of the society is alarming, especially among the youth, who are the future leaders. A phenomenon that is a big threat to national development and a menace that is capable of depleting the working population with its attendant consequences. It is in the light of this that the Nigerian government established the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency with Decree 48 of 1989, now an act of the Parliament, with the aim of eliminating the growing, processing, manufacturing, selling, exporting, and trafficking of hard drugs. The trilogy functions of the agency can be summed up in the fight against cultivation of illicit drugs, trafficking, and the organizers of the trade. To what extent has the agency been able to carry out its duty in evolving a drug-free society? This and more will be the focus of our discourse on today's edition of Stepping Up, as legal experts to ECOWAS and Commander of the Ndlea Kano State Command, Dr. Ibrahim Abdul, steps up on the program. My name is Kemi Fakeye. The program is Stepping Up, and you are welcome. We have with us in the studio today the commander of the Ndlea Kano State Command, who is also a legal expert. He has a PhD in law and also a legal advisor to ECOWAS, in person of Dr. Ibrahim Abdul, who is here to talk about what the Ndlea is doing to ensure that the fight against the consumption of illegal drugs is fought to letter in Nigeria. You're welcome to the program.
Thank you very much.
Okay. Let's start by asking, what is Ndlea doing at present to ensure that the fight against the consumption of illicit drugs is won in Nigeria?
The work of the Ndlea is not outside the confines of the provision of the law which established the Ndlea, known as the Ndlea Act Cap N30, Laws of the Federation of Nigeria. By virtue of Section 3 of the Ndlea Act, the general coordinator of all drug laws is Ndlea, to the exclusion of all other persons. At the same time, Section 7 of the Act also gave the agency the power to do what is called drug demand reduction, that is in the area of public enlightenment, in the area of rehabilitation of drug-dependent persons. But presently now, as far as drug abuse is concerned, there's a paradigm shift now. What is in vogue all over the world by virtue of the directive we received from the United Nations Office on Drug and Crime is to treat the drug user as a person that has medical problem instead of isolating him, with a view to getting the reason why he is taking drugs so that we can now improvise the remedy to his problems. In a nutshell, that is what we do in the area of drug abuse. And we have gone very far here in the country under the able leadership of Colonel Mohammed Mustafa Abdullah, who has built the capacity of the agency officers and have made them to stop the former system of policing of drug, which was more of a reactive nature, in favor of a proactive nature where intelligence-led policing are used. What we do now is to use small-range criminals to get to the medium-range criminals, then finally we get to the high-profile criminals. And that was exemplified in the case of Zainab in Kano.
In the area of the trafficking and the consumption of illicit drugs, what is Ndlea doing to ensure that this part of the country is sanitized, that there's a solution to this?
The major drugs of abuse in northern part of Nigeria, especially Kano, where I happen to be the state commander, are what is called opiates. These are drugs like tramadol, drugs like rohypnol, drugs like pentazocine, drugs like roche and difa. Those are the drugs that are commonly abused, and other new psychotropic substances that were improvised by the youth, probably because they do not have the money to purchase drugs like cocaine, heroin, or LSD that could be found in other cosmopolitan areas like Lagos and other parts of the country. So what we did is an aggressive campaign to make people realize the dangers inherent in taking drug, at the same time showing them the categorization of the drug and what are the effects of each of these drugs. And that resulted in bringing down the level of drugs, especially in Kano. And I can back it with statistical data.
Go ahead, please.
Like, for instance, in 2016, prior to the ban on cough syrup with codeine, Ndlea Kano State Command was able to recover 8 tons of cough syrup or codeine, representing 61%. Then in 2017, it now reduced to 3.9%, representing 21%. Then now what happened after the ban on codeine in 2018? So it now came down considerably in 2018 to 1.8 tons, representing 13%. But then from January to date, we're not even talking about tons now. By this time last year, we were talking about tons. But now we are only able to seize only about 5 kilograms, not tons. That is in terms of cough syrup with codeine. Then what about tramadol? Because the major drugs of abuse in Kano, for instance, and most northern parts of the country are this tramadol and cough syrup with codeine. In the area of tramadol in 2016, we seized 25 tons, representing 61%. Then in 2017, it went down to 8 tons, representing 21%. Then in 2018, it now came down to almost about 3.7 tons. But right now, from January to date, what we seize is not in ton again. We only got 5.9 kilograms, which means drug abuse is coming down.
Okay. These people that you have arrested in the recent past, that's talking about the traffickers.
Yeah.
Did you prosecute?
Of course. Ndlea is an all-encompassing organization which is a similitude to formidable drug organizations like the Drug Enforcement Administration of the United States, the FBI, American Internal Revenue Service, as well as Her Majesty's Customs and Excise, which contains, among other departments of investigation, Department of Prosecution, Department of Drug Demand Reduction. So we have all these things encompassed, unlike other organizations or regulatory bodies who now borrow from other departments to help them investigate their cases, or to go to the office of the Attorney General to get prosecutors to prosecute their cases. In our own case, we are even a department supervised directly by the Attorney General. So almost all the lawyers in Ndlea, or all, are doing it with the fiat of the Attorney General. So needless of Ndlea now to start going out to scout for prosecutors from the office of the Attorney General, or to go outside and look for police to come and help them investigate their cases. Okay,
like how many people have been jailed in the recent times?
Well, the only thing I will tell you is that one of the law enforcement agencies that are achieving 100% success in prosecution is in Ndlea. In Ndlea, we do 2 things at a time. We kill 2 birds with 1 stone. Okay. After securing even the conviction of those drug offenders, whether traffickers or dealers, we at the same time forfeit the property of that dealer under Section 42 of the Ndlea Act. And under Section 15 also, we carry out money laundering investigation. We confiscate his assets, we freeze his accounts, we even auction his property, whether movable or immovable, and put the money in the consolidated revenue account so that it will be used for sustainable economic development of this nation.
Okay, and how many of these have you done in the recent times?
In recent times, I cannot with accuracy say how many people we have so far jailed in the whole of the country.
Okay. Your command.
I can only talk about my command.
Okay.
I am barely about 5 or 6 months in the command.
Okay.
I know that I have made arrests of more than 450 suspects. Okay. Out of those suspects, I know that I have convicted over about 50, and the remaining are still standing trial before the court. And we hope that we will definitely secure conviction of those people. Okay,
these drugs that you confiscate, what do you do with them?
If you confiscate a drug, first and foremost, you tender them before the court. You know that. Yeah. You don't have right as an exhibit. Yeah. Then some part of the drug, you take them to the forensic science laboratory to test, because we of the Ndlea, despite our experiences which we gathered and accumulated over the years, we are not regarded as experts as far as the law is concerned. Okay. And whatever we get, whether positive or negative, we still need to take it to forensic science. Then the forensic science expert will come with their certificate, or in certain circumstances will be brought to court to come and testify to ascertain that the drug is actually drug. While the other bigger part of the drug, we tender it before the court. After it has been tendered, we'll make application for those drugs to be burnt. And it will now be destroyed in the presence of the judge, in the presence of the governor and other politically exposed persons, including the chairman of the agency. That is how we deal with these drugs.
Okay. In carrying out your responsibilities, how much of collaboration do you have with other agencies?
Yeah, we have a lot of collaboration, especially the police. The police have general duties under Section 14(4) of the Police Act to arrest every criminal activity under the sun. At the same time, Section 3, Subsection 1Q of the Ndlea Act says investigation of drug cases should be done by Ndlea to the exclusion of all other authority. To the exclusion of all of this is clear and unambiguous. You don't even need connotation. Even applying literal rule of interpretation, you know that you should...
Doctor, let's take a short break at this point. Viewer, we shall be back in a moment. Please stay with us. You're welcome back. The program is still stepping up, and the commandant of Kano State Command of the Ndlea, in person of Dr. Ibrahim Abdul, still rubbing minds with us on what the agency is doing, especially in the northern part of the country, to ensure that the fight against illicit consumption and trafficking of drugs is fought to letter. Yes, you've spoken so much about the legal aspect of your activities and the collaboration with the police and where the job of the police should end. Let's talk about collaboration with international agencies. Now, how much of this is Ndlea involved in?
The clear testimony of the existence of international cooperation between countries is what is exemplified in the case of Zainab. Okay. There is what is called international protocol, international conventions. All these are international agreements that were signed by members of the United Nations organizations. Now, in some situations, there is what is called mutual legal assistance. At the same time, this mutual legal assistance is saying that nations of the world should afford each other mutual legal assistance in the area of crime. That is in the area either investigation or in prosecution and so on, because there are situations where some crimes will start in Nigeria, but it will consummate in another country. There are situations where there will be need of somebody to be extradited back to Nigeria or back to the other receiving country to go and face charges. Yeah. Now, in a situation where there is no memorandum of understanding or where there is no mutual legal assistance between countries, some people have been living under that old mistake that there's nothing anybody can do. But the United Nations instrument known as the United Nations Convention Against Transnational Organized Crime of 2000, popularly known as the Palermo Convention, and the Mutual Legal Assistance Treaty, has clearly stated that even if there is no existence of memorandum of understanding in criminal matters between countries, or then there is, every country is under legal obligation under these two conventions to afford each other mutual legal assistance in criminal matters. That is in the area of prosecution, in the area of investigation. So maybe those are the kind of laws that the Federal Ministry of Justice capitalized in and using the Nigerian consulate to secure the release of Zainab.
Okay, can you just give us just a brief explanation on how Zainab got to the net of security agencies
on the 26th of December,
in Saudi Arabia.
On the 26th of December last year, a lady with her two female children were traveling to the Saudi Arabia for lesser pilgrimage, Umrah. So, it's a common practice among Nigerians to engage the services of a proxy, especially agent, who will now check in their luggage for them while they stay at home until when it is nearer time for boarding before they come. all this big manism. You know what it means. So every passenger is entitled to 40 kilograms, which means the 3 passengers will be entitled to 120 kilograms. So the agent now realized that the cumulative kilogram of these 3 passengers was not up to 40, which means there's still remaining of about how much? 80 kilograms. So the agent now connived with some airport handlers to sell the 80 kilograms to drug traffickers, who now planted drug in Zainab's, using Zainab's passport what they did actually is not to plant drug, is to buy the kilogram of Zainab, but using her own passport. You understand? Yes. There's a way the airport handlers generate tags using their system to give those people who bought the kilo. So they use the tag in Saudi Arabia to claim the luggage. Meanwhile, Zainab and her mother and the other lady, all of them have only one luggage each. So when they went to Saudi Arabia, they picked their luggage and went to their hotel. But the other luggage that was sold to those criminals could not be taken by them because of the heavy presence of security in the airport. Okay. So it now raised suspicion of the Saudi authorities. So after making investigation, they traced that particular bag that contained 2,000 tablets of tramadol to Zainab. That was what led to the arrest of Zainab. Okay. So the father now, after when the mother told him what happened, he now wrote a petition to Ndlea. And the Ndlea now acted swiftly, using the proactive investigation that was introduced to them by our chairman, Colonel Mustafa Abdullah. He built the capacity of Ndlea for more than 3 years, using the NODC on the new acceptable ways of policing drug. So they use that intelligence-led policing now to get to the system of the handlers. Whoever gives a tag to a passenger, his name will show. Okay. They get the handlers, they got the agents, they got the people who bought the kilo, and apprehended the 6 of them and charged them before the court, and gave them slammed 3 counts of charges. The first charge was conspiracy to import tramadol, a drug other than cocaine, heroin, or LSD, which will attract not less than 15 years imprisonment and not more than 25. The second count was exportation of tramadol, a drug other than a drug similar to cocaine, heroin, and LSD. That will attract life imprisonment. Then the third count is working as a syndicate to transport tramadol, a drug that is similar to cocaine, heroin, and LSD, which also attracts life imprisonment. So the investigation report, as well as the 3 counts of charges, all were taken to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs by Ndlea for onward transmission to the Saudi authorities. I think that was what led to the release of Zainab. Okay. So kudos to the Federal Republic of Nigeria, the President, kudos to Ndlea. We deserve commendation, don't you think so?
Yes, definitely. Okay, and what measures are being put in place to forestall a reoccurrence of this kind of incident?
Yeah, the measures that are put in place through public enlightenment, you will see that we are carrying out aggressive campaign in both electronic and print media to sensitize the people on the need of not using proxy to send your luggage to the conveyor belt. Okay. Every passenger is supposed to check his luggage by himself, because if you, in most cases, from the record we had, because we had similar convictions in similar cases in 2017, is the agents that connive with the handlers and those drug traffickers to plant drug in innocent persons' luggages. So to guard against that, every passenger should present his luggage for check. And when you go to the counter, sometimes you will be given a form so that you list the number of items you have. And at the same time, make sure that you wrap your luggage, put it in the conveyor belt, make sure the conveyor belt moves. And when you are going into the flight, you make sure that you identify your luggage. That is 2. Thirdly, unaccompanied luggages should not be allowed. If you have any unaccompanied luggage, you should go to the cargo section. Then the agency is making effort to put CCTV camera all over the airports. And there will be stiffer penalties on these airport handlers, because with the way things are going now, since the issue of Zainab has become an international issue that has acquired notoriety to be judicially noticed, definitely the federal government will do something about steep penalties on these airport handlers.
But the case of Zainab may be one out of maybe 50 or 100 of such people that peradventure just fell victims of such. Is there anything Ndlea is doing in this light? Yes, the father of Zainab wrote a petition, but there are some out there that may not have such opportunity.
Yeah, but if you remember, I did tell you in 2017, some two ladies too were arrested in Saudi Arabia. We did the same thing. We apprehended the suspect that planted those things using the same techniques that we used in Zainab. We were able to secure their release. Okay. Where the people that were instrumental to planting, we now took them to court and they, for a long time, been convicted. In another development in May 2017, some narco handlers, came with a vehicle. They did not even follow the normal terminal. They used the vehicle to go straight into the tarmac to put the drug into the airline when we intercepted them. And those ones too have been convicted in court. Okay. Just recently, about 3 days ago, a 72-year-old man was brought to the hotel by another agent. So in the process of packing his things into the bag, he now put tramadol, about 600 grams of tramadol and 250 grams of Valium D5. And when the old man was apprehended, luckily he was able to show us the agent who did that and we nabbed him. If that person had gone to Saudi Arabia, probably he would have also become a victim like Zainab.
In spite of all this arrest and prosecution, some people are still getting themselves involved. What's your advice to such people that, well, hard work pays, that's trying to make this kind of quick money that may eventually land you in jail?
You see, there are so many consequences of trafficking and dealing in drugs, especially the legal consequence. The Ndlea Act is one of strict liability. When we say strict liability in law is that the mental knowledge is not even important. Once you are found in actual, implied or constructive possession of this drug, you have already committed the offense, even if it is somebody that gave you to hold for him. So with this kind of laws that have high penalties, as much as not less than 15 years and no more than 25 and life imprisonment, the period that you're supposed to be useful to society, you have...
If it's in Saudi Arabia or other Asian countries, the penalty is death.
It's death in those countries. Yes. You understand? Even in Nigeria, it's still stiff, a punishment, even though we don't use the death penalty here. But there are a lot of consequences, apart from staying in jail. The whole of your property under Section 42 will be forfeited to the federal government, which I told you. And when you come out, you will be left with nothing. Your property, movable, immovable, your asset, your money, all will be confiscated. Your passport will be seized. You cannot even contest in an election. You can see how this law is strict, real strict liability type of a law.
Okay, and what's your general advice to the people that are still consuming such?
Well, those who are consuming, you are not doing good to yourself because it will have a far-reaching effect in terms of your health. Each of these drugs have consequences. Some will cause delusion. You see people who will be seeing and hearing things that do not exist. Some will even be seeing hole. You will not see the hole, but they will say that they have seen a hole. They want to jump inside hole. Some of these things, some of these categories of drug can also cause hypertension. Some low blood pressure. Some will even block your air passages and leading to your kidney cancer and eventual death. So why should somebody take those kind of drugs that will have those kind of consequences to his health?
Well, Dr. Ibrahim Abdul, it's been nice talking with you on Stepping Up this week. I know you still have so much to say, but time is really not on our side. Thank you very much for being our guest.
Thank you very much, too.
Viewer, on this note, we shall be wrapping up the program. We thank you for being there, watching the Nigerian Television Authority. Join us again next time when we shall bring you another guest. My name is Kemi Fakeye. Bye for now.